Okay, so after creating the file and writing into the file, now we have to go ahead and create another method to read the file, and we're going to be creating it down here. Let's start by making it public, still study because we are still in the same class. Void, it won't return anything, and then we call it read, because we're going to be using it to read the file that has just been created, to read whatever is in the file, the contents of the file. So okay, so let's start by implementing telling people that we are going to probably system.out.println, or but we can start with a file, creating an object of the file itself, because we need to. So we're creating or instantiating an object of the file class. This time we can use can still use the other time we're using writer as the object, the writer object, but this time we are going to use the file object, because we just want to refer to a certain file that is already that is already saved, and we want to refer to that file, and then we read the contents of the file. New file, of course, and we're going to be creating, or I mean refer to the name of the file. The file was called file.txt, should be small letters, file.txt, so that's the file we want to read. Close, and then we are going to, now this time we're going to use another Java class called scanner, the scanner class, to read the file. So we use the scanner class to read the file. So we we bring in the scanner, trying to create the scanner object, instantiating the scanner object of the scanner class is equal to new. I will provide all this source code somewhere in a link, so you shouldn't be worried on how to get the source code. New scanner, and then inside the new scanner we're going to pass the file itself. We pass file, the file that we want to read. Okay. Now you realize that we have an error. We don't know where this error is coming from, so we have to investigate. We're saying add an exception. Okay, the same thing that we had done before, we have surrounded with a try and catch. Okay, now we can see try and catch, so we're going to be catching the exception here. So probably after catching the exception, if at all it gets into an error while doing while executing the program, or while trying to read the file, we want it to print out that yes, I've got an error here, so that's why I'm not able to continue reading the file. Probably say an error occurred. Okay, just like we did before. And that's it. Now that done, we go back to our scanner that we had started off with. We would like to put this inside the scanner. We can just leave it outside, no problem. Now we have the scanner object. We can go ahead and say, now this time we're going to implement something important. Okay, so we want to implement something called a while loop. Not a while loop, but to do while, such that if at all the a certain prerequisite is fulfilled, do something. So we want it to do something while something has been fulfilled. So we are saying while, but remember while must have its opening curly brackets, something like that, and then close them. Okay, then we say while. Now we want to bring the scanner object while the scanner object has next line, because we want to where should take this. Yeah, I think it's this. And suppose it has next 9. It's not appearing. Let's continue to type. It should be suggesting. Okay, no problem, no problem. Type the code myself. So we call the next line method on the scanner object itself, and then down here, while that is fulfilled, we want to say string create a variable called data that's going to store whatever has been gotten from the scanner object, and we store it in that variable called data. And then finally we print out that variable called data. It's going to go pick whatever is in the class, I mean the file, and then assign it. Of course, that's the scanner object. Assign it to a variable called data, and then we print out that variable. As the print line, we don't need to put this. We just print out a variable called data that has already been mentioned. Now you realize that you're not receiving any import errors. Probably if you're using a different kind of IDE, me I'm using IntelliJ, it actually imports it makes all the imports automatically. The moment you implement the scanner class, it will import the scanner, the java.utl.scanner class immediately, and also you can see the Java IOI exceptions all have been imported automatically. Even the file writer classes have been imported automatically. So if it's all you're using an IDE that doesn't do this automatically, you have to go ahead and import them and manually import the java.tl scanner class exception, then file writer. They are here. You can just copy them and then import them manually into your program. Okay, so with that said, we promise this not to leave it just like this. We prefer using e.print stake. I think that's it. Then we pass in. Yeah, that's it. Then finally we print the data that we just read from the file. Now if we run this file or run again, the system will first of all create the file and write the file, contents into the file. After writing contents to the file, it will go ahead and read the file, read the contents of the file. So if at all we don't need to, we can first of all just read the file, the contents of the file. So by highlighting this, you can actually comment this. This is how the block comment if you want to comment it. If you want to comment a big block of code, this is how you have surround them in this stroke here slash star star, and then you have commented it. Now you receive an error that they're not seeing this method because it's already commented and it's not part of the code. But you can go ahead and now call the read method in the place of the right. So we are calling now the read method on our main method, and so it's going to be running this. We already have the file and it has some contents in it. Hello, blah blah. So if we run this program, it will call the read method, and this read method is actually intended to read whatever is in this file and then store it in the data variable, and then print out that whatever has been stored in the variable, which is the content that is inside. So when we run this program, we expect the program to be printing this content here, the one that is in the file, on the console. So let's run. Okay, now you can see hello world, these are the contents of the file. So it has finished reading the file and printed out everything, the contents of the file in the console successfully. So the program can now read. So we can later on add this and we can make it one, but I'm going to show you something else. Remember, now we have two methods that we have to call here, and remember we had also the write method. So you call the write, so it writes, then after writing creates the file, writes the file, then reads the file. So but before doing that, you have to go ahead and delete this. If it finds it there, it will tell you that the file already exists, so we need it to be deleted such that we start afresh and then do it at once. Now we go ahead and run the program. Okay, so you can see successfully written to the file. It writes to the file this content, hello world, and after writing to the file, it prints out. It now reads the file and prints out the content of the file, which is hello. These are the file contents of the file. So successfully now we have a program that creates the file, writes to the file, and reads the contents of the file and prints them out in the console. So that's all guys that I wanted to do for today. That's for Java Basics. Remember to subscribe and like the video, and also follow up next day for the next tutorial on our Java course. I'm going to be doing this full course until we are done, and also I'll be providing the source codes. So thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video, and if you want, you can just share it with your friends. So that's all. See you in the next video.